So in this lesson today, we will be going over prerequisite skills that are needed for Unit 1 operations with rational numbers. When they use the word prerequisite, that is meaning these are things that you should have some kind of knowledge of already. They were in standards addressed in previous units or in previous grade levels. So we will go over prerequisite skills before we begin each unit. I would recommend that you actually use the video and just kind of look over the review before you actually do your Unit 7 pre-skill or excuse me, pre-test assessment. So on number 1, the first thing they want us to do is label -3 on the number line. So before I do anything, I'm actually going to fill in the remainder of the number line. So to the right of 0 are positive numbers. And to the left of 0 are negative numbers. So for me to label -3 on the number line, I know that that is three units to the left of 0. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, which will give me my point of -3. The next question says name the opposite of -4. The opposite of -4 is going to be +4. Number 3, compare by using greater than, less than, or equal to. So we're comparing -5 to -7. So the first thing I recommend is making sure that you understand the inequality symbols. If I had a number line, to the right of 0 would be my positive numbers, and to the left of 0 would be my negative numbers. So what that means is when my inequality faces the positive side, that's greater than. When the inequality faces the negative side of the number line, that will be less than. And then always remember on a number line, the further a number is from 0, the smaller it is. So I see that -7 is further from 0 than -5. So what that tells me is -5 is greater than -7. The reason why is because -5 is closer to 0. If I use that same number line for number 4, where they ask me to order from least to greatest, I always recommend that you kind of fill in your number line first and then actually list your responses. So if I plot these points, I have -3, -7, -5, +2, +4, and 0. And since they want me to go from least to greatest, that means I will be listing my numbers going to the right. So from least to greatest, my answer would be -7. Then I would go to -5. Then I would go to -3. Then 0. Then 2. Then 4. Least to greatest. Number 5, they want us to find the product of 12.2 and 4.5. So when they say product, what they are saying is when you multiply the two numbers together, what will your solution be? I'm trying to clear ink so I can have some space. All right, so we're going to do 12.2 times 4.5. 5 times 2 is 10. That's 0. Carry the 1. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. So 1. Carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. Then I do the second row. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 1 is 4. When I add those, I end up with 0, 9. 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry the 1, and it gives me 5. Now, I know that I need a decimal. In order to determine where my decimal will end up, I count how many places are behind the decimals in the actual problem. So here I have 2 places behind the decimal. So that means I will go 2 places to the left. And so my answer for this problem would be 54.90. All right, I excuse the space needed for me to actually solve. Again, it is recorded in the video, but I do want to make sure that I have ample space to solve other problems. So as we progress throughout the year, my videos will definitely become more clearer and easier to follow, even if it's something as basic as me giving myself more space on my actual page to write. Number 6, label the opposite of -2 on the number line. Again, I suggest that you fill in the number line first. So this is +1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 already, 6, and 7. To the left of 0 would be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. The opposite of -2 would be +2. So for this problem, you should have had +2 on the number line. Number 7, compare using greater than, less than, or equal to. So we already discussed the inequalities. The inequality that faces to the positive side of a number line is greater than. The inequality that faces to the negative side of a number line is less than. And of course, you know that equal to symbol means they are equivalent. So in number 7, they want negative and the opposite kind of mean the same thing. So the negative on the outside of the parentheses is basically saying, hey, what is the opposite of -3? So the opposite of -3 is actually +3. So we're comparing +3 to -5, and we know that +3 is greater than -5. Number 9, we are looking for the quotient. The quotient of 24.36 divided by 4.2. So you know that that means to divide. So we will be dividing 24.36 divided by 4.2. So it is very important to remember that you cannot divide by a decimal. So that means I'm going to have to move this decimal one place to the left, to the right. If I move this decimal one place to the right, then that means I move this decimal one place to the right and bring the decimal up. So now I'm actually looking at 42 into 243.6. So I know that 42 goes into 243 5 whole times. So 5 times 42 is 210. When I subtract, I get 33. 42 cannot go into 33. So since 42 can't go into 33, I'm going to bring down the 6. Now I'm looking at 336 divided by 42. Well, 336 divided by 42 is 8. 42 times 8 is 336. So the answer to this problem would be 5.8. Now, if you would like to check your work, you know that you will use the inverse operation. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. So I could multiply 5.8 times 4.2, and it should give me 24.36. 8 times 2 is 16, that's 6. Carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10. plus 1 is 11. 4 times 8 is 32. That's 2. Carry the 3. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 3 is 23. And when I add these, that's a plus sign, I get 6, 3, 4, 2. And then again, remember with multiplication, I know that I'll have 2 decimal places in this product or this answer to a multiplication problem because there are 2 places behind the decimal. So 1, 2, which gives me that same 24.36. So I know that my answer is correct. 24.36 divided by 4.2 is 5.8. And then the last problem, number 10. Remember, we have to use PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So the brackets act as parentheses. So the first thing I'm going to do is 10 minus 4, which is 6. And then I'm going to rewrite my problem. So now I'm still working inside of the brackets because the brackets are just like parentheses. So now on the inside of the brackets, because I have division and multiplication, I know that they are interchangeable. So that means I can go from left to right. So the first thing I'm going to do is 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And then I rewrite my problem. The next thing I will do is 3 times 3, which is 9. And 9 times 5 is 45. So for number 10, you should have had 45. Use this as a review. Again, I will work on possibly working out some of the problems before you play the solution to see if you actually understand the concept. Again, I would suggest that you review this video and then take your 7th grade Unit 1 pretest.